right, so ready to dive into another deep dive with me. Today we're focusing on how to prepare for a Social Security Administrator interview.
hmm
And we've got some awesome resources from RoleCatcher to help us out today.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll be using their guides and sample interview questions, and we'll even get into how RoleCatcher's AI can help you personalize your prep and really stand out from the competition.
Okay, cool. So I got to be honest, when I think Social Security Administration, I picture, stacks of paperwork, maybe a slightly stuffy office environment. Is that accurate, or is there more to this role than meets the eye?
Oh, there's definitely more to it than you might think. RoleCatcher's career guide actually emphasizes the diverse responsibilities in this role. It's not just about processing paperwork, it's about designing and implementing programs, supervising staff, even investigating policies and suggesting improvements.
Wow, so it's about problem solving and making the system better for everyone. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But before we get into, saving the world, let's talk about the interview itself.
Mhm.
RoleCatcher has a bunch of sample interview questions. Which ones do you think are like real make or break for this role?
One that often trips people up is, how did you become interested in the field of Social Security Administration? Seems simple enough, right?
Yeah, I mean, it does.
But it's your chance to really set yourself apart.
Right, because saying, I like helping people is probably a little too vague.
Exactly.
So what's a better way to approach that question?
Instead of giving a generic response, think about what specifically sparked your interest. Was it a personal experience that opened your eyes to the importance of social safety nets? Or maybe you're fascinated by the policy side of things, finding solutions to complex social challenges.
I see. So it's about showing them you're not just there for a job. You're there because you genuinely care.
Exactly. Let your passion shine through. And be ready for follow-up questions, too. The interviewer might ask you to, elaborate on your experiences or explain how your interests align with the specific responsibilities of the role.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like you're telling a mini story about your journey.
Oh.
Okay, what's another question candidates should really nail?
Here's one that's a bit trickier. Describe a situation where you had to handle a difficult customer in the context of Social Security Administration.
Ooh, yeah, that's a tough one.
They're not just looking for a story. They want to see how you handle pressure and solve problems with empathy.
Right, because this role is all about working with people who might be going through some difficult times.
Yeah.
You need to show them you can handle those situations with grace and understanding.
Absolutely. And I bet RoleCatcher's AI could be helpful here. It analyzes your practice answers and gives feedback.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's like having a personal coach. Okay, so back to the difficult customer scenario. What would a strong answer look like?
Don't just recount the situation. Walk the interviewer through your thought process. How did you assess the situation? What steps did you take to de-escalate and address the customer's concerns? What skills did you leverage, like active listening or conflict resolution?
And of course, highlight the positive outcome. You turned a frustrated customer into a happy one.
Exactly. Show them you can handle the tough stuff and still deliver excellent customer service. It's also a good opportunity to highlight your understanding of relevant policies and procedures. Did you have to navigate any specific regulations to find a solution?
Right, because it's not just about being nice. It's about knowing the rules and applying them fairly. All right, so far we've got passion, problem solving. What other skills are they looking for in these interview questions?
Here's one that tests your knowledge and attention to detail. How would you handle a situation where you discovered a discrepancy in a customer's Social Security benefits? They want to see that you take accuracy seriously.
Oh, yeah, because even a small error can have a huge impact on someone's life.
Exactly. In your answer, walk them through your process. How would you investigate the discrepancy, verify the information, and take the right steps to correct the error?
So it's about being a detective and a problem solver.
Yes. And don't forget to mention the importance of clear and compassionate communication with the customer throughout the process.
Right, because you're dealing with real people's lives here. You need to be sensitive and understanding even when you're fixing a mistake.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered some pretty intense situations so far. Passion, difficult customers, discrepancies. What else should candidates be prepared for?
Let's talk about a topic that can be a bit of a minefield: Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, and Supplemental Security Income, SSI. The interviewer might ask, what is your experience with SSDI and SSI?
Oh, I bet that one makes people nervous.
It does, but honesty is key. If you have direct experience, highlight your knowledge of eligibility criteria, the application process, even the appeals process. But if your experience is more limited, focus on what you do understand about the programs and your willingness to learn.
So even if you haven't worked directly with SSDI and SSI, you can still impress them with your desire to learn.
Absolutely. Show them you're a quick study and eager to master new areas. And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be incredibly helpful. Its algorithms analyze the specific job description and suggest relevant skills and experience to emphasize.
Wow, so it helps you tailor your answers to the specific job you're applying for.
Exactly. It can even tailor sample answers to include keywords that align with the job posting.
That's pretty amazing. It's like having a secret weapon to help you stand out.
It really is. Now let's tackle a question that digs into your organizational skills. How do you prioritize your workload in the context of Social Security Administration?
Yeah, I imagine this job involves juggling a lot of responsibilities.
It does. In your answer, describe your approach to prioritizing tasks. Do you use a to-do list, a calendar, or a specific prioritization framework? Explain how you balance urgent tasks with important ones.
Right, because sometimes what seems urgent might not be the most impactful in the long run.
That's insightful. You also want to demonstrate that you can handle multiple deadlines and shifting priorities without dropping the ball.
Okay, so we've covered some heavy-hitting questions today. Passion, difficult customers, discrepancies, workload management. What else should candidates be prepared for?
Let's talk about teamwork. The interviewer might ask, describe a time when you had to work collaboratively with other teams or agencies to resolve a customer's Social Security issue.
The classic teamwork question. But in this context, it's probably even more important because Social Security often involves coordinating with different departments or even external organizations.
Precisely. Think of a specific example where you had to work across departments or with an outside agency. Highlight your communication skills, your ability to build relationships, and your commitment to finding solutions that benefit the customer.
So it's not just about getting along with your immediate team, it's about navigating a larger network to get things done for the people you serve.
Exactly. And be ready for those all-important follow-up questions. The interviewer might ask about specific challenges you faced, the strategies you used to overcome them, and the lessons you learned from the experience.
Right, because they want to see that you can learn and grow from those experiences. All right, we've covered a lot of ground, but we're not done yet. We'll be back with even more interview insights and how RoleCatcher can help you shine. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. We're diving even deeper into those make-or-break interview questions for aspiring Social Security administrators.
Yeah, and we've got RoleCatcher's insights to guide us along the way.
Yeah.
You know what's striking me is how these questions aren't really about finding the right answer. They're more about revealing who you are as a person and how you approach challenges.
You're absolutely right. It's about showcasing your skills, thought processes, and that genuine commitment to serving others.
Okay, so speaking of challenges, what about those big picture questions? You know, the ones that ask, like, what are some of the biggest challenges facing the Social Security Administration today, and how would you address them?
Yes, the question that really tests your awareness of the bigger picture. For this one, it's crucial to be informed about current events and policy debates surrounding Social Security.
Okay, so brush up on things like funding challenges, demographic shifts, the impact of technology, all those things that could really shape the future of the agency.
Exactly, but don't stop at just listing the problems. Offer potential solutions or strategies. How would you approach those challenges? What innovative ideas or policy changes could improve the system?
Okay, so it's about showing them you're not just there for a job, you're there to make a real difference.
Precisely. Demonstrate you're a forward-thinking person who's ready to tackle those complex issues head-on.
I like it.
Now let's talk about another question that often throws people off. Describe your leadership style.
Oh, I know this one. It's so tempting to just throw out those buzzwords like transformational or collaborative.
Right, but those words don't really tell us anything about you. Be authentic, be specific. Think about your actual approach to leading teams. What are your strengths as a leader? Do you empower your team? Do you focus on mentorship and development? Are you a strong communicator?
And back it up with real-life examples.
Exactly. Don't just tell them you're a good leader. Show them with concrete examples of how you've led successfully in the past.
Because actions speak louder than words.
Right. And don't forget, the interviewer is also trying to assess whether your leadership style aligns with the organization's culture. Research the organization's values and demonstrate how your approach complements their existing structure.
That's a good point. It's all about finding the right fit. Okay, let's shift gears to a question that really tests your ethical compass. Have you ever encountered a situation where you suspected fraud or abuse within the Social Security system? How did you handle it?
Ooh, this one's all about integrity. It's essential to demonstrate that you take fraud seriously and are prepared to act ethically and responsibly.
So even if you haven't personally encountered this type of situation, you need to show them you understand the gravity of it.
Exactly. If you have personal experience, describe the situation clearly outlining the steps you took to investigate your concerns while adhering to proper procedures and confidentiality.
But if you haven't dealt with it directly, you can still talk about your understanding of the relevant regulations and reporting procedures. It shows you're aware of the potential for these issues and you're committed to doing the right thing.
Right. Now, for a question that can feel a bit awkward, what are your salary expectations?
Oh, yeah. This one's always a bit tricky.
It is. It's like walking a tightrope. You need to find that balance between knowing your worth and being flexible.
Okay, so how do you strike that balance?
Do your research beforehand. Use resources like RoleCatcher or other salary comparison websites. Understand the typical salary range for similar positions in your location.
So you're not going in blind, but you're also not locking yourself into a specific number.
Right. During the interview, express your flexibility and emphasize that you're more interested in finding the right fit and making a meaningful contribution. You can even frame your response in terms of your value proposition, highlighting your key skills and accomplishments.
Okay, so it's about showing them you're not just in it for the paycheck. You're passionate about the work and you believe your skills are valuable.
Exactly. Now let's shift to a question that looks into the future. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
The classic 5-year plan question. This is where you show them you're ambitious, but also realistic, right?
Right. Express your desire to learn, grow, and contribute to the organization's success. You can mention specific areas of interest within Social Security Administration or express your aspirations for leadership roles.
But don't make it sound like you're already planning your exit strategy.
Exactly. You want to convey your commitment to the organization and your willingness to invest in your long-term growth with them. Now let's tackle another classic. What are your strengths and weaknesses? It's a common question, but it still requires some thought.
Yeah, self-awareness is key here. You need to know yourself well enough to talk about both the good and the, well, not so good.
Exactly. When discussing your strengths, be specific and provide real examples. How have your strengths helped you succeed in previous roles? And when addressing your weaknesses, choose something you're actively working on improving.
Don't just confess a major flaw without offering a solution. Frame it as an area for growth and development.
That's a great point. For example, you could say, I sometimes struggle with delegating tasks, but I'm learning to trust my team and empower them to take on more responsibility.
Perfect. It shows you're self-aware and proactive about personal growth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about those behavioral questions that ask you to tell a story? Like, tell me about a time you had to make a difficult decision with limited information.
Those can be tricky, but they're a chance to really shine. They want to see how you approach challenges, gather information, analyze options, and make sound judgments all under pressure.
So pick a situation that really showcases your problem-solving skills and your ability to think on your feet.
Right. Describe the situation concisely outlining the challenges you faced and the steps you took to make the decision. Emphasize your critical thinking skills, your ability to weigh different perspectives, and your willingness to take calculated risks.
And don't be afraid to discuss the outcome, whether it was positive or negative. What matters is that you learned from the experience and grew as a decision maker.
Exactly. Another common behavioral question is, tell me about a time you had to deal with a conflict within your team. How did you resolve it?
This is all about showing them you can handle those inevitable interpersonal challenges that come up in any workplace.
Right. Be specific about the situation, your role in the conflict, and the steps you took to facilitate a resolution. Highlight your communication, listening, and mediation skills.
And remember, the goal isn't just to win the argument. It's about finding a solution that addresses everyone's concerns and ultimately strengthens the team.
Now let's talk about a question that assesses your commitment to staying current in this ever-evolving field. How do you stay informed about changes in Social Security policies and regulations?
Oh, this is where you show them you're not just relying on what you learned in school. You're actively seeking out new knowledge and staying ahead of the curve.
Exactly. Mention specific resources you use, such as professional journals, industry conferences, or government websites, and highlight any professional development activities you've undertaken to expand your knowledge base. It shows you're dedicated to continuous learning.
It's all about being a lifelong learner, always curious and always growing. Okay, what about those questions that test your ability to influence others? Like, describe a situation where you had to persuade someone to see your point of view.
This one assesses your communication and negotiation skills, your ability to build consensus and gain buy-in from others.
It's about being persuasive, but also respectful. You're not trying to force your ideas on people. You're trying to find common ground and build a shared understanding.
Exactly. Choose a situation where you have to present a compelling argument, address opposing viewpoints, and ultimately persuade someone to adopt your perspective.
And highlight your ability to listen attentively, build rapport, and find those win-win solutions.
Right. And if you can quantify the impact of your persuasion efforts, did you secure funding for a project, implement a new policy, successfully resolve a conflict? Numbers speak volumes.
They do. Okay, we're nearing the end of the interview, and here comes the classic, do you have any questions for me?
Mm.
This is your chance to flip the script and show them you're genuinely interested and engaged.
It's also a great opportunity to gather information that can help you decide if this is the right fit for you. Come prepared with thoughtful questions that dig deeper into the organization's culture, the specific responsibilities of the role, or the team dynamics.
Avoid those generic questions that can be easily answered with a quick Google search. Instead, focus on questions that reveal your insights and curiosity about the organization's values, mission, and goals.
Absolutely. Show them you've done your homework and you're genuinely interested in becoming a part of their team.
All right, it's your chance to make a lasting impression. All right, we've covered a ton of ground here, but we've got one more crucial piece of the puzzle to explore. How RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor your answers and boost your confidence. Don't miss it. Okay, we're back and ready to unveil the secret weapon for acing that Social Security Administrator interview. RoleCatcher's AI.
It's not just about prepping for the questions, it's about really tailoring your answers to hit those specific points that the hiring manager is listening for, and that's where RoleCatcher's AI can really make a difference.
Yeah, we touched on this a bit earlier, but let's dive a little deeper. How does it actually work?
Okay, so picture this. You upload the job description, right? And RoleCatcher's AI goes to work. It analyzes the description, identifies the keywords, skills, and experience they're really emphasizing, and then suggests ways to weave those elements into your answers.
So it's not about, changing who you are or being someone you're not. It's about highlighting the parts of your experience that are most relevant to this specific role.
Exactly. It helps you tell your story in a way that really connects with what they are looking for. But it goes beyond just the content. RoleCatcher's AI also analyzes your delivery, whether you're practicing your answers out loud or even if you're writing them down.
Like, it can analyze my tone of voice. That's pretty cool.
It can. It gives you feedback on things like pacing, clarity, and even whether you sound, confident and enthusiastic.
Wow. That's like having a virtual interview coach in your pocket.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say I'm practicing that difficult customer scenario we talked about earlier. What kind of feedback could the AI give me?
It might suggest ways to make your tone more empathetic, even if the words you're using are good. Or it might point out that you're using vague language and encourage you to give more specific examples to really showcase your skills.
Okay, so it's not just about being right or wrong. It's about fine-tuning your delivery to make the absolute best impression.
Exactly. And the best part, it's all personalized. RoleCatcher tailors the feedback to the specific job you're applying for, so you know you're putting your best foot forward for that particular opportunity.
It's amazing how AI is changing the game when it comes to job hunting.
It really is, but it's important to remember that while RoleCatcher's AI is an incredibly powerful tool, it's still just that, a tool. It's there to support you and guide you, but ultimately your success depends on your preparation, your skills, and your passion for this field.
Well said. So to wrap things up, as you prepare for that Social Security Administrator interview, do your research, practice those answers, and definitely let RoleCatcher's AI be your secret weapon in crafting a winning strategy.
Absolutely. And most importantly, believe in yourself and your ability to make a positive impact. The world needs compassionate and dedicated individuals like you in these important roles.
That's a wrap on our deep dive into the world of Social Security Administration. We've talked about the challenges, the rewards, the essential skills, and even how RoleCatcher's AI can help you shine in that interview.
We hope you feel empowered and ready to take on this exciting career path. And remember, the work you do as a Social Security Administrator will touch countless lives, ensuring the well-being of individuals and families across the nation.
So go out there, ace that interview, and make a real difference. Good luck, and thanks for joining us on this deep dive.